Our next guest covered Amazon's original decision process in depth, and he joins us here on this latest development. Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times columnist Jim Stewart is back at Post 9. Jim, welcome back.
Good to be
I joked
here.
with you when you came up here that we're still talking about this saga.
Yeah, I know. It's been an amazing story. I mean, frankly, I'm flabbergasted that we've gotten to the point where people are forcing Amazon to reconsider the decision. I can't help but think that the overwhelming majority of New Yorkers were thrilled. I mean, most cities would kill. I mean, they came close to killing to get this deal. You know, $3 billion, if you look at it closely in the scheme of things over a long period of time, this isn't such a big number. This isn't some huge giveaway.
Less than some other cities offered, by the way.
Much. I mean, Newark, a fraction of the size of New York, New Jersey was offering $7 billion. So I think that's not the issue at all. I mean, are there concerns? Of course, you've got to worry about the congestion, the development. Are people going to be displaced? But there are ways of addressing all of that. If the New York City local government is so worried about it, address those problems directly if and when they occur. I mean, first of all, this is not a residential neighborhood they're moving in. And then when you think about all the restaurants that will spring up, the service sector, the stores, it adds a huge boost to which, Frank, is not such a great area right now.
But Jim, isn't this a natural consequence of the way Amazon ran this process in the first place? They ran it like a beauty contest between all these cities, and they were the prize. Now that they've announced, the winner, now the real people get to speak. They didn't really have a voice before. If they had said we're interested in moving to New York and engaged with the community, maybe this would have come out in the process and they would have ended up in a place that everybody agreed with. But now it's happening in reverse, right?
Well, true, but I think one of the big issues about their being so public about it all is that it naturally made them a lightning rod for all the frustrations about gentrification, about technification, about the big growing divide. I mean, look, Google is building a huge new operation in Manhattan. Disney is moving a big operation into lower Manhattan. Nobody is like marching and protesting and demanding that they unionize. Suddenly it's just Amazon because they've been so visible. But look, these things come, they happen, they pass. I mean, I hope cooler heads will prevail. I heard some people on the anti-Amazon side saying there's nothing to negotiate. There's no way that we will agree short of you pulling out, which struck me as not a very constructive approach here. There has got to be a middle ground.
I can't help but think that the bigger issue around all of this that politicians and the like are not getting to is this idea of how high the taxes are in New York. You got New York State coming out saying they got a $2.3 billion budget shortfall. You have other companies besides Amazon that have seen incentives over the years. You don't have to necessarily offer all those incentives if you find a way to maybe balance your budget and make the area a little more business friendly in the first place, no?
Well, yeah, I agree with you on that, but also I think you bring up another point. What does this say to other companies who might be thinking of expanding or moving to New York City? And if they did, would be contributing to the tax base and would be helping to ease the pressure on everybody else. What message does this send about how welcoming New York is going to be to somebody who wants to hire a lot of people and come here and employ them and pay a lot of taxes? It's a terrible message. It's extremely visible. I think if they pull out, it's going to be a disaster for the economy of New York City.
Do you think, is there any reason to believe they're being more combative, Amazon, because of the turmoil regarding AMI and Bezos right now?
I doubt it. I mean, I assume that these are on completely separate tracks. But I guess one thing, what implicit in your question is whether the AMI sensation is spilling over into decisions and management choices that are going on at Amazon headquarters. And I think that's the one thing about all of this that shareholders should keep an eye on. And by the way, I think Bezos should get the benefit of the doubt. I don't see any indication. There's been, no sign that, he's behaving in a strange way. We're not talking about a Tesla type situation here. All accounts are he's on top of things. He's making decisions. He's, acting in the best interests of the company. And I don't think there's any sign his personal life has spilled over. On the other hand, we've got to watch because there is a track record of CEOs who get into divorce type situations, and it has affected the business decisions of many of them.
So investors should ignore the smarmy details and just focus on that issue of Bezos and management.
Absolutely. I think they should relent. I mean, look, of their own personal interest, I don't care what they read or focus on, but as investors, they should relentlessly focus only on what does this mean for his ability to run the company. You know, the fact that he's going to red carpet events, Amazon is an entertainment company now. I don't fault him for that. You want to make money in the entertainment business, you've got to get out there and do that. I don't see any sign of problems yet. They've been very successful in the entertainment business. So I say more power to him if that's what it takes. The stock is doing well, the earnings are doing well, the capital investments are going forward. I don't know how he fits all this into his day, and by the way, owning the Washington Post at the same time. But if he can do all that, you know, good for him. On the other hand, if we start hearing, and we will hear immediately, there will be leaks. If he starts behaving like a bizarre way, doesn't show up at board meetings, is like suddenly jetting off to strange places, we'll hear about it.